Hello, my name is Josue. Today we are going to have a brief interview with Mrs. Marshall. Let's begin. What is your full name? Why did your parents select this name for you? Are you named for anyone? Did you have a nickname?
So, my name is Dorshawn Marshall, and my mother made up the name many years ago, and people in my family didn't understand because at that time there were regular names, maybe like a Mary or something, and so people thought it was French. It's not, it's just a together name that she made up. And I do have a couple of nicknames. The easiest one is Dor, for Dorshawn, or a lot of my nieces and nephews refer to me as Auntie Dee Dee, because it's the beginning of my name, so.
When and where were you born?
Okay, so where I was born, you only have one birthplace. However, you could be raised in different places. And my birthplace was New York. And I was raised in that area, Connecticut, as well as New Jersey, until I moved to Maryland.
How did your family come to live there?
Well, my dad was born and raised in Connecticut and New York. He's 80 now. My mom is deceased, but she was born and raised in New Jersey.
Were there other family members in the area and who?
Oh my gosh. Almost all of my family members were living in the Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey area. We call it the tri-state area. My mom's siblings, my grandparents, except for one, my grandfather on my dad's side, he lived in South Carolina, where we have a lot of land. And my mom's father's family was third generation, born and raised in Texas, Native American.
What was the house like? How many rooms, and if there was and bathrooms?
Okay, so growing up, I grew up in an apartment, so we only had a couple of bedrooms and one bathroom. Now that I'm an adult, I have 4 bathrooms. That was so important to me because when you have siblings and family members and you're using one bathroom, it's not necessarily good. Number 8, I'm so sorry, go ahead.
Were there any special items in the house that you remembered?
My mother had, and back, I remember in the 70s, a lot of African American families had really big fork and spoon set. They were wooden, and they were like maybe 2 feet, maybe not that big, well, maybe so, that were hanging on the wall, so I remember that.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
I remember having my first birthday party and crying because my younger sister, who was just a couple of years younger, she had to be there, and then she got to invite maybe a couple of her friends. And then I remember inviting one girl, but she brought 4 sisters to my party. And I think I was only about 9 years old.
Wow. What kind of games did you play growing up?
Oh my gosh, probably my favorite games were board games. But then I remember being outside with friends and playing like a chasing game. I forgot the names of them, but where we would run. It's almost like tag, but it was something else. But I noticed that you all today, I don't know if you play games like that.
Me and my brothers play tag still, and we mostly play hide and go seek.
Yes, that's the one that we played, hide and go seek. They still play that?
Yeah, we play in the dark, like outside when it's night.
Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you.
What was your favorite toy and why?
I had a Chrissy doll. It was called Chrissy back then, and the dolls today do so much more. But this Chrissy doll, and this is like in the 70s, the Chrissy doll crawled just a little bit. And she was really big, and then she had a little hole in her mouth, but the hole wasn't for you to feed her, but I used to pretend. So the Chrissy doll.
Of all the things you learned from your parents, which do you feel was the most valuable?
The most valuable, my mother and father, my parents weren't together raising me. My mom raised me in the house, but my dad was very active in my life. Neither one of my parents ever drove, never had a car. They took the bus or walked everywhere, especially my dad. And my dad and me were always so close. Even though he didn't have what a lot of people had, he always said that he had me. And we were just close, and he just taught me how beautiful I was growing up and how to love myself. And to me, that's the best gift that I have even given to my daughter, who's grown, she's married and has a child. I used to tell her to look in the mirror, you're beautiful, you're smart, because I didn't want her to look for her peers to validate who she was. I wanted her to know. So that's something that I've taken away, especially now that my mom's passed. I love knowing that that's something she's taught me.
What is the one thing you most want people to remember about you?
Just that besides me being beautiful, that I'm kind, I'm thankful, I'm blessed, and that I love children, love advocating for children.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for accepting our request. Have a great day.
Oh, thank you so much, Josue.